Alright, so we're looking at the Ionian box. We have 6, 7, root 2. Now over here in the G box, this is the root fretboard. So the numbers, if I could put these numbers on a transparency, I could move them back and forth and you see they're the same. It's like the fretboard conveyor belt as it's put conversely in another dimension by one of my favorite guitar teachers whose name has slipped my mind. But we all know, you know, there's a few great guys on YouTube, and they've helped me. Believe me. And there's some new folks too that got YouTube videos that they just help me. But it's doing something their way, okay? And it's tough, and I know it's tough to watch somebody do something their way, which is my way now. But I'm trying to get this across to you, and if it gels on you, you can take off on this stuff, you know, more than just on a couple of pointers and the like. And with the charts, we can see exactly what's going on. So your G shape, C, here's your root C, here's that A minor, is the 6 of that C. Here's your G-shaped C in K, just G, but it's actually a C chord. And here's its 6. So if you want root 3 6, okay, root 3 6, it'd be a different arpeggio. So that's where that comes from. That 6, 7 root when I talk about a G being there. Okay, so we're back to what we're talking about. You're going to count, and instead of saying 6, 7 root, okay, where's our little 6, 7 root? As you know, we were looking at that a minute ago, okay, the 6, 7 root. Now I've also included on the left here the original 6, 7 root G-shaped string shape. This is a string shape in my jargon, okay? We're going to change that to root 2, 3 with an offset of -2. Why do we need -2? Root -2 equals 6. Why do we need to know that? Because when we arrive at that 6 again, okay, we are going to play. Okay, when we arrive at that 6 again, we're going to play this pattern, 6, 7 root, 2, 3, 4, and on up. In the short patterns, it's 6, 7 root, 2, 3, 4. As you know, it loops around, so 2, 3, 4 just goes up to 5, 6. That's in the short patterns, the 5, 6, 7 in the long pattern. So we're going to play that pattern while we're counting root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? So that's where the fun begins. Okay, so that's where the fun begins, but it doesn't stop there. So we count root 2, 3, 4 out loud in the lesson, following the Aeolian 6th pattern, root, whole step, 2, 3, 4. In key of C it'd be A, B, half step to C, and then the 4th, a whole step to D. Okay, now from the 4th we can branch off. We're going to branch off there and apply the Aeolian pattern offset of -2, okay, where we arrived at that offset, root -2 equals 6. So the offset's -2. From the 4th of Aeolian, this then starts the branch pattern scale of a Dorian, which is the 2 of the original key. And so the pattern we're going to play there is the Dorian pattern. So we apply the -2 offset to the 4th, and we get 4, 3, 2. That's how we get the Dorian pattern. So let's do that. We started with 6, 7 root, and we're going to go instead of 6, 7, root 2, we're going to go root 2, 3, 4. We're going to subtract 2 from 4. From any of the Aeolian scale members, we're going to subtract 2. From any of the Mixolydian scale members, how many are we going to subtract? From each of those scale members for the branch pattern, 3. So we'll count, instead of 5, 6, 7, root 2, 3, we're going to count root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 minus 3 is 3. So we're going to play a Phrygian third at that point. So it'll go like this. That's the branch pattern. And a little note down here, use your ear and emphasize, embellish the branch pattern a little bit. You don't have to play the whole Dorian scale at that point with the Aeolian, or in the case of what we're playing over here, you don't have to play the whole Phrygian scale, but we did. Because don't make the branch as big as the tree. Okay, you're going to want to go back to the regular modal pattern within about 1 or 2 measures, So that's how it works. Let's see how it works playing. Okay, before we get into playing, because I'm a little nervous. I'm a little nervous anyway, right? Let's put me over here. Hey, you shuffle over to the side there, please. Sure. Method, parent key of mode. Let's just review. This is a little more of kind of a pixelized description of what we just read in the nice violet and white comments that I made part of this chart. It's kind of a pixelized version. Parent key of mode has 0 offset. Okay, so the parent key is C. Key of C. Alright. Or we could play it like this. C, any way you look at it. Okay, that's the parent key. It has 0 offset. So our little C scales, well, let's start one. Here's the C. Let's do the long pattern. Let's do the short pattern. Now that would be the E shape, because when we play the E shape C, the root is C right there on the bottom inner note of the E string shape, the inner root note. Okay, because remember the E string shape is the E string shape scale. Okay, so it's the second one. It's part of the buddy system. 7 root. Okay, so we have our 0 offset there where we can count. Root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 root. Now, of course, we can branch off anything from there, so it can go. And then from 5, we can play a Mixolydian. And we'll still be within that modal scale, right? Now, I'm just looking at notes there because I'm in the key of C. That works well for me. But this pattern and this method is great because it gets you to think differently about the same thing, and that's what it's all about. When you see somebody playing something, just because they're playing that method, it doesn't mean they're thinking what you're thinking when they're playing it. You might just be thinking, okay, I'm going to what would they call this? Arpeggiate these 3 strings. That's how I first started with arpeggios, But they may be looking at it completely differently. So the branch patterns give us extensions of the scales, and there's other benefits. I'll comment as I realize, but it'll probably be at the expense